And while you're sitting there thinking, I want you to think also, what does the public think our vision is? What's the public vision? What do you think the rest of Marion County thinks? Is it in line with yours? Different? I want you to just think that through for a second. You don't have to write it down, but you can just think it through. So looking at the vision that you wrote down, your vision will give us some clues to what you value. What values come through in that vision statement that you wrote there? Is it the value of every child? Is it preparing your students for a future healthy community? Because that's what this is about. Is it every child prepared for their next level of learning no matter what it is? Look for values that you see there. Okay? That's important that we talk about that. So what I want to do next is rip off NPR with this, I believe. What I've found to be very helpful for some of our work is to sort of break it down and think, okay, what is it I believe about all these different components of schools? Because some of us come in and we have an agenda. We know what we want. But sometimes we leave out stakeholder groups. Like when I do this work with schools, and I do this with faculty groups too, where they can write a school mission and vision. Actually, I did it with Marion County High School, because I was principal there. One of the pieces that they oftentimes leave out is the community stakeholder piece. They're so locked into their classrooms, their hallways, their buildings, that they forget the bigger picture. And then when I do this kind of work with a board or with a community group, sometimes they forget the nuances of teaching and learning, or they don't know them, and that's okay too. Because as a wider group, we combine and have a bigger vision for the district. So I want you to take a couple of minutes to look at this next part called This I Believe. What is it you really believe about teaching and learning? Before you launch into that, though, I'm having a little thought here. Let me show you some work from Pendleton County. And I want to show you that this doesn't just happen like in this one setting, because it's not going to. But we do get a good start. They had a phrase, going from good to great. We have a phrase, dream, believe, achieve. Okay, perfectly fine. Right? So they wanted to build on that. So this is what we did with them. We did a This We Believe piece, just like I'm going to do with you. And it broke out into the leadership of schools, teaching and learning, students, teachers, and parents and community at first. Okay? So one of the things they believed about leadership in schools, because this is how theirs broke out, this is what I saw from them, they wanted high expectations of staff, and they wanted decisions based on the best interest of kids. They wanted student-centered schools. Teaching and learning, it was a lifelong process that was engaging, creative, and analytical. For students, as we got started, they were capable of growing as learners. They had a want to be successful. Teachers make decisions based on data, maintain that growth mindset, have high expectations, be problem solvers. Parents and community, be valued contributors, feel welcome, and we felt in Pendleton they were key for success. They had to be engaged in order to be successful. Now, that turned into that. We believe our schools deserve leaders, teachers, and staff who, and you can see words like have a passion and a vision, value the uniqueness of every student. Then they went into schools are filled with students who can do these things, and then schools are supported by parents and community who do these things. So that little list turned into this. What I love about this work is that it fits on one page. It's an intro to you. Their mission, their vision, and their core beliefs are all together. Do you see how that evolved over time? It wasn't easy, because look, these are all the different manifestations we went through, lots of different things we talked about over time. And then let me show you this piece, the one I was alluding to a little earlier. This is the Jefferson County Strategic Plan that Dr. Hargens and her group, after her first 100 days in office, if you will, they came up with this. And so I wanted to show this to you because I didn't work with them, but golly gee, they produced pretty much the same thing that I like to see, which is a one-page. So you're going to make me put my glasses on to reduce this to see. Okay, here we go. a one page. They have a vision, they have a mission, and they have core values. And she produced this in 2012. This is a 3-year plan. Okay? So my vision for 2015 is this, is where we go. Based on their core values, they have a mission to provide relevant, comprehensive, and quality instruction in order to educate, prepare, and inspire students to learn. And their vision is that all of them graduate prepared to reach their full potential and contribute to society. And then what they did was put this in a portfolio around these 4 goals. She has 4 goals, and everything ties back to them. Your superintendent has 3 goals, and everything ties back to them. She sent them, well, I moved it, it's over there. She sent them to me, I reviewed them, same framework. But every action can be tied to those goals, and that's what's so important. They don't get sidetracked. Donna Harkins does not get sidetracked with her board. Her board chair does not get sidetracked. Everything comes in here, and it's been very helpful for them. They have 154 schools to take care of. This is like 2 board meetings in a row for me, because last night I sat at home and watched it on TV. I really don't like to go. I sat at home and watched it on TV, and then I'm here tonight. But what I want you to see is that they've organized their goals to feed their vision and mission. Make sense? You've got goals, and we'll organize that into your mission and vision. That's where we're headed. So I wanted you to see what other districts had going and had in play already. So let's go to your activity here. And what I want you to do is spend, I'm not sure it'll be 5 minutes, but we'll see. I want you to spend some time on each of the "this I believe" statements. Okay? What is it you believe about each of these things? Okay, this wait time, work time is excruciating for me, so I have to set a PowerPoint timer, otherwise I jump in early. This is the time when you get to talk, and not me. So what I want you to do is a table talk time together, and I want you to share what you believe. And I want you to look for some shared values, some things that all of you believe. You can circle on your paper, you can write extras. On the next page is a place for you to record some shared values if you want to. You can do it however you like. And what I want you to do at your tables is talk about what you believe about each of those items, have some good discourse between that, and because you are going to produce a table vision. Each group is going to have a vision, and we're going to come all over. So table talk time on what you believe.
Each one will be shared.
We'll start teaching the first time. This I believe about teaching and learning.
Sure.
But I believe it's with the best teacher.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Teaching and learning on the first, I said teaching and learning, you can do rigorous, relevant to the learning.
Because that also teachers need to feel valued and students. And they need to feel that students are continuous improvement. And I think we get something like that. That you have to get a certain mark or and I think that's what we need to be. It's something about leaders or they continue.
I just put that everyone needs as much education as possible. And that's important because that used to be very important. I mean, I'm talking about not just college, but I'm just talking about everybody should continue their education lifelong.
I had that,
Never stop.
but I put that on about, I believe that
It's been learned.
there's
It's
something
different. Anybody has a
there have been students find ways to get there.
You got everything.
the same. What it should say.
Just have a read.
So what are the shared values about teaching and learning?
We all share.
Values from tables. I heard nearly every table talk about passion and commitment to children. I heard nearly every table talk about high expectations, or at least the word expectation. And then I heard a lot of every child. Not children, but every child. All children, every child. I heard a lot of that. What else? What are some other shared values that came out of your discussions at your tables? Some things that all of you seem to agree on.
Visionaries.
Visionaries, okay? What else?
Sponge for knowledge.
Commitment?
Just don't put it outside the box.
Sponge for knowledge.
Sponge for knowledge.
But you don't hear don't you?
We just got that started.
What else?
We talked about guaranteed Bible curriculum.
Oh, I see. So you
Oh, that's a educator right
Not just me.
What else?
Well, then we talked about relationships as well. Not only have to have a curriculum part, but you have to have a
We
relationship.
just talked
piece.
about relationships too. We said be very student data driven.
Data-driven? Data-driven? What's another one that you talked about? Because I heard variations of all of them.
Embracing diversity.
Okay.
We talked a lot about communication at different levels with the leaders and the teachers, and just it felt like it was coming a little more.
Okay. When we go through some of these, they apply to more than one of those role groups that we talked about too. Some of this can cross over role groups. It's not just kids, it's not just teachers, it's not just leaders, whatever you have done here. So as I was walking around the room, these are some of the words that I heard and some of the phrases, and then you've added a little bit to it. Here's another personal challenge for you at the bottom of that next page. Down here at the bottom, there's another box. Okay? Based on your conversations, this is an individual activity. Based on your conversations at the table and what you heard, do you have an expanded vision? Would you add anything to the vision that you originally wrote? As an individual, would you add anything to that vision that you originally wrote?
What we said we did, but we wanted to shorten it back so that it just,
It's
so
concise
easy to
and-
say.
Yeah, I got you. We'll get there.
all right.
I got you. I know. We'll get there. And to me, this is the fun part of the crafting of it, because it gets to take on the personality of the community, which is always the best piece of this work. So let me walk you through a couple more things while we're thinking here. I'm going to leave this chart up for a few minutes, but let me walk you through a couple of slides just to keep our thinking going. This is what your superintendent shared with me: dream, believe, and achieve. So here's an example of what you're talking about, I think, that Pendleton County put together. And remember, you're starting with dream, believe, achieve. Okay? They started with good to great. It's happening here. All right? They didn't want anybody off the hook, so are they moving to good to great to exceptional? Probably. But that's their tagline. That's what they're doing. That's what people know. They have a mission statement that outlines the day-to-day activities, and then they have their vision: achieving greatness, every student, every day. Is that what you're talking about? Short, concise, people can do it. One of the pieces that, and again, I told you there's as many different ways to do this as there are people that will help you facilitate, and that's all my job is to facilitate. One of the people that I learned how to do this with said it should fit on a bumper sticker, not on the side of a semi, but on a bumper sticker. And I think when I got to Laura's place, she took me in the lobby of her school and said, "Look at this. This is our, what was it, mission statement." It went from the top to the bottom of the lobby there. And she's like, "We have to fix this." So we did. We worked on that. You also should be able to cite it under duress. What is it? A 12-year-old should remember it. What is it? What is it we are? Who are we? That's your vision, that's your perfect future state, okay? And then your mission is longer, can be a couple of sentences even if you need it to be, but it has to tie to your vision. It's the operationalizing of your vision, how you're going to get there. So what Pendleton County decided to do, they said their mission was to meet the unique needs of our students through a culture of expectation, engagement, and continuous growth so that every student is prepared for the 21st century. Now, that took us ages to get there. It doesn't have to take you that long, but it did take us more than an evening to get there together. So we started, just like you did, with We Believe. And we're going to do a little table activity in a minute that's going to help us. But we have to break it down, and what you've been working on are your core beliefs or your values. There are others. Pendleton started with these, same sorts of ones that you started with, but we ended up looking a little different because they really value leadership in their district. And they want to hold leaders accountable to each other and to the community. They decided to talk about schools who are filled with students who do these kinds of things. Learn in engaging, thoughtful, and creative ways. Involve themselves as active partners in their own learning. Thrive on positive relationships with caring adults. Participate as active and vital members of the school community and are motivated to achieve at high levels as lifelong learners. In their community, the parent community piece, they need parents and community who value education and lifelong learning, who engage in the life of their schools through positive relationships and active participation, who take pride as collaborative partners and stakeholders in the success of their schools. And up here, they need leaders, teachers, and staff with a passion and a vision to lead and teach with a servant heart. That's big in Anthony's world, the servant leadership. Value the uniqueness of every student, and they're committed to seeing every student succeed. Are willing to grow professionally to improve outcomes for all students. Hold themselves and others to a high level of individual and professional accountability. Make data-driven decisions based on what's in the best interest of their students. And create a safe and welcoming environment for all members of the school and community. So we started just like you did, and we ended kind of here. These are the things that we value, and we'll get there too. That's my goal, is to help you get there. So when we think about what you've been talking about in that mission statement or operationalizing, mission statements sort of answer the questions of why we exist, what's our opportunity, what are we committed to providing, what promises are we making, what are our wants and needs and desires, pains or problems. So the mission of Pendleton County Schools then was to meet the unique needs of their students through a culture of expectation, engagement, and continuous growth. Those are the three things they finally settled on as their core values. Do you see that? And that was a long way to get there. But we still have all of their core values listed about what they believe about each of those items. Now, in your CDIP, in all of the school individual C-SIPs, you have to have your mission and vision in there because it is the roadmap to where you go. So what he was able to do was take that and then break it apart and write goals for each of those areas because he had goals for leadership at the building level, at the district level, at the school level. He had goals for teaching and learning based upon the student needs, and he had community engagement goals. Does that make sense? So he was able to organize it as a roadmap for what he was doing. But the vision is really the starting point for any strategic framework. It shapes it, it provides a foundation, it should be flexible enough in interpretation to adjust and change, but strong enough to last. So his vision is achieving greatness every student every day. And this is what they ended up with. This is on everything they do. They've got it all over the place. They've got posters printed up, it's on like coasters on their desks, it's everywhere. But they were very proud of this, and it took them a long time to get there. But you see, you've got to start, dream, believe, and achieve. And I took a look at your college and career readiness timeline, and there are cues over there for us too. You believe in your community from birth through graduation, because that builds a healthy community. And that will be reflected in your mission and your vision. When you talk about lifelong learning, you start at birth, and you go all the way through. So we'll get to that point. At your tables, what I want you to try to do now is I want a single sheet from each one, and I usually do it on chart paper, but you guys all seem, everybody seems to have a notebook, so we'll do it on individual papers. What I'd like for you to do is create a table version of this we believe, okay, a synthesis of this we believe statements, and take a stab at a table vision statement, right? So 2 pieces, those core beliefs and a vision statement. See if you can come up with something like that. And then my job is going to be to synthesize all of them for you.